Standards aren't walls, they are filters that keep the wrong people and the wrong energy out.
Just imagine for a moment being able to go ahead and live out loud with standards that you have chosen as being your guardrails for how you live your life.
We have to let the exit of the wrong people make space for the right people to be in our lives. Welcome back to Unapologetic Rabble-Rousers. I am Doc Shelley.
And I am Carla Lewis. Welcome back. Okay, this one, let's just get right into it, Michelle. Your standards, your standards and mine are not too high. The notion that we have standards and that somebody might think that there should be a ceiling on those. No. This is your standards are not too high. They are finally yours. And just imagine for a moment. Just imagine being able to go ahead and live out loud with standards that you have chosen as being your guardrails for how you live your life. And standing loud and proud in those standards. Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
Do it.
Let's do it. Let's talk about being able to examine the standards we have versus expectations others might have of us, or maybe we've even established for ourselves, and that need to be challenged. And just stepping out and saying, you know what? I have worth. I belong in this space in this way, and I'm not apologizing for it.
Amen.
It is who I am, and that's how I'm going to live my life.
Yes. I have often been told my standards are too high. I have never believed anyone who has told me my standards are too high.
Right.
And I think people who offer the statement that you are too much, your standards are too high, are discomforted because you don't lower your bar.
Yes.
Their discomfort is not my problem. I think I said that in the last episode.
It is. That's right. It's like, what you think of me is none of my business.
Yeah. I don't really care. But I think it's important as you think about standards, as you think about having strong standards that some think are too high, that you have to stand in it and know that you're not too much, that you're not available for other people's crumbs, that we can have standards. We can have, I hesitate to use the word expectation because I think expectation is a little different than standards, but we can have expectations of how other people treat us. That would be a standard. And we can hold people to those things. Standards aren't walls. They are filters that keep the wrong people and the wrong energy out. It's not a wall. There's a distinct difference.
So being able to allow in what belongs and keep out what does not. Mm-hmm. Could we spend a little time talking about this notion of the crumbs?
The crumbs.
The crumbs. So saying, I am no longer available for crumbs. Mm-hmm. It seems to me that there's a tremendous amount of mental and emotional attachment that fits inside this. So if we were talking to somebody about you're no longer available for crumbs, what are we probably discussing? What does it mean that I'm no longer available for crumbs?
So the first thing that comes to mind for me is relationships, right? Okay. I have pretty high standards for men that I date. And I don't want the crumbs of whatever they think they can offer and get away with. They're going to put some, if a dude wants to date me, there's effort involved.
Got it. Okay.
And I see so many women that, oh my God, this guy paid me attention. And then they sit around and they wait 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 and they text and they text and they don't get a response and they wait and they wait. That's a crumb. I'm not doing that. If you want to spend time with me, you will find time to spend time with me. I'm not asking for 24/7. Jesus, no. But there's so many women I know that will accept crumbs from men that they want to be in a relationship with.
Okay, so
they will allow them to cancel plans on the regular because they want to go out with their buddies. They will just accept that they're going to text and not be heard from for 3 or 4 days. They're like, no. If that's how you really want to live your life, okay. But if I'm in a relationship with somebody who's a significant other and I don't hear back from you for 3 or 4 days,
okay,
it's probably problematic. Unless you're like on a business trip or something. Like, there can be times where that's okay, but when that's the norm, there's something else going on there. I'm just saying.
Yes. Okay. So it's not the dregs of society that are the crumbs that we're talking about here.
No.
What we're talking about is the leftovers that somebody, in this particular case, the things that will be dangled out there as I'm just going to keep you stringing along with me, but I'm not going to even care about meeting your standards of what being in a
because you just
respectful
you would just expect too much. That's just too much. Just can't do that.
No.
Then comes the gaslighting and all the other things.
Right, because the standards themselves, that having the standards doesn't make you cold.
No.
It makes you clear.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some real self-reflection necessary here to understand what those standards really are. Not as influenced by what you can get from other people, but what it is that you're bringing and what it is you're expecting in return.
Right. And I think when you start to establish standards where you haven't had them before, much like when you start using boundaries, that clarity sounds harsh to people.
Yeah.
Because they have benefited from your confusion. They have benefited from your lack of standards. They have benefited from you not holding yourself accountable to your standards. Some of those people might opt out, which I say, peace out.
Yeah.
Bye.
Right.
Don't let the door hit you, the proverbial you know what. Some people are going to opt in. It just might take them a minute. But we have to make space for the exit of the wrong people. That didn't make sense. We have to let the exit of the wrong people make space for the right people to be in our lives.
There's a piece of this that demands that we take a good, loving, caring look at what is it that I really want here? Do I want to be comfortable with what has always been? Do I want to stop succumbing to that which I'm familiar with and instead go for what it is that I really desire?
Mm-hmm.
And standing up to that starts with being able to stand up to yourself and say, look, what's going on here? What do I want?
You got to have some self-worth.
Yeah.
And as you develop the self-worth, as you continue to stand in your self-worth, you're going to be able to say things like, that used to work for me and it doesn't anymore. It's not enough. And you don't need a 22-page diatribe document explaining why to a previous episode.
Exactly.
we talked about. It all comes together.
It does come together. And at the same time, because now you're taking that stand, it forces a little bit of adjustment around you.
Mm-hmm.
That, okay, well, something's changed. Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Not, oh, really? Something's changed. You used to be a lot different.
You used to be so much fun.
So listen to that one, okay? So being you isn't being fun. Oh, wow.
I have fun.
Okay, I'm not talking about you.
I'm just saying, I have a lot of fun.
I know you do.
But people have said to me, you used to be so much fun. I'm like, I'm still fun.
Yeah, right. It's just not your kind of fun, and you can't take advantage of me, and you can't stand an expectation of what you've seen before, because guess what? It's a new day.
Exactly. And I think it's important that as you think about the standards that you want to hold for yourself, that you recognize that it requires you honoring your standards. When you can honor your standards, other people will either get on board or they won't. But when they see you flip-flopping on your standards, they're going to continue to try to take advantage of that. And they're going to use it for their own benefit.
Absolutely. And they're going to be able to play that card because they're familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
They know what used to be. They know what your buttons are. They know what works and what doesn't. And you're starting to try to stretch into a new standard, a new level. But if it isn't done from a place of, it may not be confidence, but it's strength that comes from having examined and understood, you know what? I am done. I am done giving in to that. I'm done giving up on that. I am done being less than who I am. I'm done.
And yes, it could be I'm done, and it could be I'm ready for something different. It could be I'm ready for the next level. So you can, if your brain goes to the negative slant of I'm done, I'm finished, not doing that anymore, that's your language. Or if it's I'm ready for something more, I'm gonna rise up here a little bit. I'm going to. So our brains work in very different ways. For some people, it's that I'm done, I'm not doing that anymore, and for other people, it's like, ooh, what else could be true here, right? So you want to honor both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
All of that can require honoring whatever that is for you, whatever that self-worth is, whatever those new standards are. It's really important to recognize.
It's curious. I had a reaction when you said that the I'm done piece comes across as negative, or that is on the negative side of things, where being able to take that stand that says, no more, I wouldn't have seen that as negative.
I don't mean the outcome isn't negative, but it's the thinking that goes towards don't versus want. Don't versus have.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that clarification.
Yeah.
Because either way, you're standing up and saying no more, or there's
Bring
more.
It.
Yeah. Bring it. Both of those things are conditional on the strength of your commitment to being true to who you are. Mm-hmm. Even if it feels a lot different than it did before. And even if it's going to look a lot different than it did before for those who are observing, it doesn't freaking matter. You have to be absolutely firm in what matters to you, what's important, how do you want to show up? And when you have that, then the rest of this is just noise. I'm not as fun as I was. You used to be a lot easier going. Well, not my problem.
Yes. And to that point, it's really important to recognize, again, we've talked about it before, but the people who thrived under your low standards, they're going to call you selfish. They're going to challenge you. They're going to have things to say. Let them. Let them miss that version of you who overfunctioned. Let them miss that version of you who gave more than she got. Let them miss that person who shrank themselves to preserve someone else's feelings. Yeah. Don't dilute yourself anymore just to keep the peace. And think about, standards are not rules. They're reminders for yourself and for other people that you are being true to who you are, not some version that is palatable to other people. Now, I'm not saying go out there and be a complete jerk. I don't think that would be a standard, although today, who knows? But you want to recognize that these aren't rules, they're standards, and they can change and they can grow. And what might be a standard today, in a month, you might want a different standard. And that is all good. It doesn't mean you're being difficult. It does mean that you have some discernment. And that is a beautiful thing.
Well, there seems little else to say. No, little more to... It seems there's little more that we could say about that. And I would like to thank you for that challenge right there. That opportunity to reflect. And I'm Carla Lewis.
I'm Doc Shelley. We'll see you next week for another episode. If you like what you're hearing, please be sure to give us a review or give us a rating. Leave us some feedback. We'll see you next time. The people who thrived under your low standards, they're going to call you selfish. They're going to challenge you. They're going to have things to say. Let them. Let them miss that version of you who overfunctioned. Let them miss that version of you who gave more than she got. Let them.